fellow freedom lovers. I'm Alex Jones, your host, and it's Friday, February 22nd, 2013, and this is yet another original edition of INFOWARS Nightly News. Tonight, we have got some amazing information. We're going to do kind of a weekend review, but also one of the big breaking news stories today that broke at INFOWARS.com and also DrudgeReport.com. But before we get to that, okay, let's get straight into the news. Well, you knew this was coming for a long time. The federal government moves to disarm veterans. And there's a Jakari Jackson report right there where he breaks all of this down. But an official letter, and I opened the phones up today, and we were sent a whole bunch of emails with different copies of these from New York, Connecticut, Texas. This particular one's out of Washington State. And it says that we're here to let you know you got to respond to this letter. No judge, no jury, no proof. You're being declared incompetent by the VA, and you got to turn all your firearms in. Now, here's a cautionary note. We are confirming, there's news articles out on this, the callers have been alerting us. They're also, if you accept this and turn your guns in, no judge, no jury, they're also taking your kids. And they're even declaring the wives incompetent and saying you must be mentally ill too. So it's a purge. Now, they said the Jews were mentally ill. They said the Jews were evil. The communists said anybody that wasn't a communist was evil. This is the dehumanization as they flip Homeland Security from Al-Qaeda, the globalist run, onto the American people.
North Korea's prison camps are like a Holocaust, as a survivor has escaped. And in Geneva at the Human Rights Convention, he shares his story. He says, North Korea's prison camps are closed off to the world. It's a world of death, as there's torture, there's forced labor. Babies are born as slaves, according to two survivors who have likened the horrors of the camps to the Holocaust in progress. People think the Holocaust is in the past, but it is still very much a reality. It is still going on in North Korea. Kim Jong-un! Shin Dong-Kang told the reporters through an interpreter on the sidelines of the Human Rights Summit being held in Geneva. Mr. Shin spent his first 23 years of his life in the prison camp. He was born there, in this secretive country of North Korea, where he says he was tortured and subjected to forced labor before making a spectacular escape 7 years ago, giving the outside world a rare first-hand account of the life inside these camps. He said his hands and feet were tied behind his back, and he was suspended from the ceiling for 2 and 3 days. They were beaten, they were tortured, they were brutalized, and then they were starved, and thousands of people are dying there with starvation. They die there from disease. They die there from they freeze to death. It's just absolutely insane what's happening there. Many of them are Christians. Yes, Christians. Your brothers, your sisters. The reason they're not sitting in the pew next to you tomorrow in church is they're rotting in a death camp in North Korea. Let me just say this. There comes a time when nations should be, there should be intervention done. And with the power we have, I would just have to ask myself, I think if I was in a position and could do something about it, I'd have to ask myself every night I laid down my head on my pillow, if I was in the White House, can I really sleep knowing this type? I mean, it's one thing, nations have a right to manage their own people and their judicial systems and what have you. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about people being thrown there for no reason at all. Zero. Just if it was rumored that they were against the communist regime of Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un. And if they were Christians and at all, they get caught with a Bible, just throw them in there. Throw the whole family in there. This is what's going on, people. This is why you know you're living in the last days.
Good evening and welcome to RWR. This is Callie with your explosion update. It's February 22nd, 2013. Investigators are trying to determine the cause of an explosion that sparked an early morning fire in Sims, Alabama. The emergency call came in at around 5:15 a.m. Authorities were called to the report of an explosion at a mobile home in the 6300 block of McCrary Road. The Sims Volunteer Fire Department responded to the scenes and quickly put out the flames. Witnesses said they were awakened by a loud boom. No injuries were reported. An electrical explosion underground buckled a portion of Chestnut Avenue in Monrovia, California yesterday morning, forcing the evacuation of World Vision and other businesses nearby. Authorities ordered the evacuation of businesses along the stretch of Chestnut Avenue Thursday morning after an underground electrical explosion buckled a portion of the street. The explosion blew a hole through the asphalt, and the cause of the explosion is not immediately clear. One man has died and two remain in the hospital after being injured in a home explosion in Fort Saskatchewan's South Point neighborhood Thursday. The workers were inside the home and there was an explosion just after 1 p.m. They were working for Will Flow Plumbing and Heating at the time of the incident. The two brothers were taken to the hospital by ambulance while their cousin was airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries. He succumbed to those injuries early this morning. At around 1 p.m., units from the Tallahassee Fire Department responded to a single-story fire in the 1800 block of Tyndall Drive. Firefighters reported heavy fire on arrival and worked for 10 minutes to put out the blaze. Thorough search of the home turned up two dogs that died from smoke inhalation. The three residents of the home were roommates and were not at home at the time. No injuries were reported at the scene, and damages from the fire were estimated about $90,000. A neighbor had reported hearing an explosion at 1 p.m. that sounded like a gunshot going off. Fire crews responded yesterday to a report of a garage explosion in St. Bonifacius, Minnesota. The Sheriff's Department reports of multiple explosions from the garage and the house was on fire. No injuries were reported. Reports of a house fire due to a possible explosion in Cisco, Texas on Avenue A and East 9th Street. The two-story home was fully engulfed. Firefighters fought the blaze and reported that the smoke could be seen for miles. Possible arson. A Clam Falls, Wisconsin woman is lucky to be alive after the ice fishing house she borrowed exploded. The explosion occurred yesterday morning around 7 a.m. on the Clam Falls flowage around 9 miles east of Frederick. She said a longtime family friend had loaned her the use of the ice fishing house when she switched propane bottles on the heater inside the house. Shortly thereafter, it exploded. And last this evening, 6 underground radioactive waste tanks at the nation's most contaminated nuclear site are leaking. The tanks, which already are long past their intended 20-year lifespan, hold millions of gallons of highly radioactive stew left over from decades of plutonium production for nuclear weapons. The U.S. Department of Energy said earlier that the liquids level were decreasing in one of the tanks at the site. Monitoring wells near the tank have not detected higher radiation levels. The federal government created Hartford in the 1940s as a part of a top-secret Manhattan project to build atomic bombs. The government spent $2 billion each year on the Hanford cleanup, 1/3 of its entire budget for nuclear cleanup nationally. The cleanup is expected to last decades.
Not from Americo Vespasi, the Portuguese mapmaker. It's the ancient name of America by the native peoples from the Aztecs, etc., means the land of the dragon. America has weapons that are centuries ahead of any other nation, and so is Israel, and any nation coming against them will be vaporized into non-existence before they can even get their second breath or heartbeat. And they should understand that. The problem is, they want dead Americans. They want an invasion. They want martial law, because then the clenched fist of America will crush these nations like a bug. And they want to do that because their New World Order is to have America be the enforcer, to have American public completely enslaved. They want to have not just 30,000, maybe 100, maybe 200,000 drones within 5 years on American soil. And they, by the way, within 10 years, won't even need police. They'll have cyberspace warriors, drones, everything from. Do you know they can listen to you with the smart meter system, listening to your washer, your dryer, your appliances? You know, in the Zigbee network, which is at the same frequency of water, that they can actually, your appliances are listening and watching you. Do you know that's part of the whole system? This is craziness, but the Matrix is real. This is not made up, and it's not my conspiracy theory. I took care of employees at the Virtual World Project. That's when I say smart meter isn't just to poison you with electromagnetic waves and frequency-dependent scalar waves from what's called these type of smart meter systems and scalar waves. It is actually
they want to create this smart dust and lay it all over the grid, and
that's one of the
everything we do.
Those smart dusts are basically microprocessors, but the major system it was called smart grid, and that's why they're so determined to shove down our throat the smart meter, which I'm filing a federal lawsuit because there's no federal law that allows them to do this. I'll be filing the first federal lawsuit in any nation on earth against any federal government. The first one. And in fact, I talked to to people in Sweden and Ireland, and they want to use my lawsuit as a template for theirs, because if it doesn't get chucked out, we're going to have Jonathan E. Moore's group out of Phoenix pick it up and make a federal class action out of it. And I'm not sharing any information on that until the suit's actually forward, because I don't want it chucked out. And what people have to understand is, when I make a statement on something, it's not open for their damned opinion. It's not open for them to attack it. They just have to accept it, research it, and if they don't want to believe it, just wait until the destruction comes. They're, first off, cash, gold and silver coins, tradable things that can be bartered, food, water, and ammo. They've got themselves their neighbors. The most important thing to do besides prepping yourself is to prep your neighbors. You got to get in their face. You got to be nice, but you got to get in their face and say, do you have 3 weeks of water? Do you have food? Please don't come at my doorstep expecting me to save your hide because you think it's a smirky, funny thing to make fun of me while I'm prepping and putting my sweat and my money into this, and you haven't prepped and you're going to show up at my doorstep.
That's right. That's right.
Large objects passing close to the sun.
System Chief Engineer, and I'm here with your Curiosity Rover Report. This was a great week for Curiosity. We got to see something we've been waiting for quite some time.
Look at the rocks, though. Heads up. It looks like they're on top of some kind of ancient paved road. I noticed it. Maybe that's why they're digging there, but this is the first time ever that we've dug into a rock and took a sample from another planet. But look carefully at what it's digging into.
In the scoop confirming that our first drill on Mars collected as we had expected. This was an important event as this is the first time a drill has been used onArs to collect sample for analysis by instruments on the rover.
Looks like a road or something.
Computer-generated images of different volumes to help us kind of rustling process that's occurred all around Mars. Since we've been at Yellowknife Bay, Curiosity has done more than 100 MOLLE images and more than 12,000 laser shots. You can see the telltale laser grid pattern from the ChemCam in this image. Additionally, you can see a fine-grained structure of this rock indicating either a mudstone or a siltstone. The next steps for the team are to finish processing the sample with Chimera and then put small portions into the SAM and Chemin instruments for analysis of chemistry and mineralogy. This has been your Curiosity Rover Report.
Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is February 24th, 2013. And here are your updates for today. I am attaching a gigantic thing at the beginning of my show, where it spans from all over the place, all the news for the last couple days that I think you needed to see, that I thought was very interesting. Alrighty then. Here we go. Even from things that are like giant objects by the sun moving around, all types of things. So I attached it, and away we go. The Watchers watching the world. Tropical disturbances in Indian Ocean. A tropical cyclone Harura moving away from Madagascar. Tropical cyclone Rusty formed near Australia. Also, Curiosity becomes first rover ever to drill Martian rock, and I show that. Oh my goodness, excuse me, cat hair or something in my face. I actually show the kind of the rock that it's digging into. You might want to stop it, go back, watch it, and stop it, pause it, and it looks like it's a paved road. Some kind of old paved road at the top of a pyramid or something. I don't know what it is, but it looks man-made to me. Alrighty then, moving on. My goodness, I'm just, ugh! I think I got cat hair or something on me. I don't know where it's coming from. Alright. Moving on, I'm sorry. We are live. Okay, here we go. It might be coming off the computer, maybe. That's why I'm having an allergic reaction or something. New Zealand's White Island volcano stirs, sends out ash cloud. Also, the giant collapse. Crust weakening, slipping, and collapsing across the planet. Alrighty then, nothing very new there. Moving on. Alright. E&E News, Fukushima, Japan. Corbett Report. Thyroid cancer skyrocketing right now in Fukushima. Guardian. The issue is bound to escalate further. Guardian. Fukushima families on edge of meltdown. Nobody trusts the government anymore. Officials afraid of triggering an exodus. Also, Gunderson. Soon after 3/11, photos show nuclear fuel is exposed to the air at Fukushima Unit 4 fuel plant. Pool. Let me say that again. Gunderson. Soon after 3/11, photo shows nuclear fuel is exposed to the air at Fukushima Unit 4 fuel pool. Clean path for plutonium to escape off-site. Heads up. Alright. Also, yesterday, Japan TV to nuclear waste curse. Animation shows spent fuel rods being exposed in Fukushima pool. Now I was trying to get that video for you. I'll have to try to do it tomorrow or something. Alrighty then, let's check the US Canada. I still feel like there's cat hair or something on my face. Let's see here. Yesterday, Fox Seattle. Nuclear waste leaks at Hanford are far worse than we thought. Heads up! Heads up. Alright. It is 2 days down for the weekend. I didn't do Friday as the last day. I'm sorry about that. I missed that one. But I've been busy adding as much footage for you so you can see everything that's going on. Alrighty then. Take care, and we start the countdown again tomorrow on the flip side. Alrighty then. I'm uploading this. Sometimes it takes a while to upload. But here we go. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Max, stop scratching. Thank you. Alrighty then. Take care.